All right, everyone, ready for another deep dive. This time on WordWise, we're tackling something I know a lot of you are facing out there. The O-level listening comprehension exam.
That's right. We're going to help you take this exam from something that stresses you out to something you feel confident about.
So we're dealing with an exam that's broken up into 4 sections,
Yeah.
and each section is kind of testing you on different listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got like the multiple choice questions in section 1.
Yeah.
In section 2, they throw in multiple speakers, so you got to keep track of all these different voices.
Yeah, it's a good workout for the brain.
Yeah, totally.
And then just when you think you've got it,
Yeah.
sections 3 and 4 come in, and those are the fill in the blank.
Oh, yeah?
Section 3 gives you a second listen.
Okay.
But section 4 is like one shot, all or nothing.
So how do we even begin to prep for this listening marathon? You know, we've got all these sources with all these tips, but it can feel a bit overwhelming.
Well, I think one of the most valuable things we can take away from all of this is why certain techniques actually work.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's not about just blindly following the tips.
Right.
It's about understanding the cognitive processes behind them.
Okay, so it's like not just memorizing a list of strategies.
Yeah.
But actually getting inside our own brains and figuring out
Yeah.
how to optimize them for listening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, take the outline method, for instance. It's mentioned in several of our sources.
Yeah.
But let's go beyond just saying use an outline.
Yeah.
Why is it so effective, particularly for section 1 with those multiple choice questions?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I've always been told to use outlines, but I never really stopped to think about why they work so well.
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
Our brains, they're wired to process information in a hierarchy.
Uh-huh.
We naturally look for the main ideas.
Yeah.
The supporting details, we look for patterns.
Okay.
And an outline just mirrors that structure, making it easier for us to encode, store, and retrieve information.
So by organizing our notes in an outline,
Yes.
we're essentially creating a mental map that our brains can easily navigate.
Precisely. Like, we're creating a well-organized filing system for your thoughts. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're faced with those multiple choice questions,
Yeah.
having that clear mental structure can help you eliminate the wrong answers and zero in on the correct one.
That makes so much sense. It's not just about writing things down.
Yeah.
It's about writing them down in a way that our brains can actually use effectively.
Right. And this principle can be applied to other techniques as well.
Okay.
Like in section 2, you have to keep track of multiple speakers.
Right.
The column method is often recommended.
Yeah.
But again, let's go beyond just saying use columns.
Yep.
Let's think about the cognitive reasons behind why it's effective.
So why are columns so helpful when we're trying to juggle information from different speakers? Like, couldn't we just jot down notes as each person speaks?
We could, but here's where an understanding of working memory comes in.
Right.
So our working memory, that mental workspace where we process information, has a limited capacity.
Okay.
When we're bombarded with information from different sources, it's easy to overload that system.
So it's like trying to juggle too many balls at once.
Exactly.
And we're going to drop.
Exactly. The column method acts as a visual aid
Okay.
and reduces that cognitive load. By assigning each speaker their own designated column, we're essentially compartmentalizing the information.
Gotcha.
This allows us to focus on one speaker at a time, making it easier to encode and retain their key points.
Okay, that's starting to click for me. It's like giving each speaker their own stage so we can pay attention to their performance before moving on to the next one.
Exactly. And when it comes to retrieving that information later on, having it neatly organized in columns makes it much easier to recall who said what.
Right.
And it avoids those moments of exam-induced panic where everything blurs together.
So understanding why these techniques work is like having a cheat code for our brains.
Absolutely.
Helping us use them to their full potential.
And once we grasp those underlying principles, we can adapt and apply them to different sections of the exam.
Right.
Even those daunting fill-in-the-blanks in sections 3 and 4.
Speaking of which, let's talk about those fill-in-the-blank sections.
Okay.
They require a whole other level of focus and speed.
Yes, they do.
Especially when you only get one listen in section 4.
Oh, yeah.
Like a listening sprint.
It is a listening sprint.
Any insights from our sources on how to tackle those effectively?
One thing that stood out to me was the emphasis on developing personal shorthand, abbreviations and symbols. It's about squeezing as much information onto the page as possible before that crucial word or phrase slips away.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like creating our own secret code to capture information quickly.
Hmm.
But how do we even begin to develop a system that works for us?
Well, it starts with practice.
Okay.
Techniques and tips for listening and note-taking suggests starting with common words and phrases.
Okay.
Think about words that you find yourself writing over and over again.
Like government,
Yeah.
because important.
Hmm.
Can you create abbreviations or symbols for those?
Yes, you can.
So instead of writing out government, I could just use gov.
Exactly.
And for because, maybe just a BC.
Perfect.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to get creative with symbols. Maybe an up arrow for increase or a down arrow for decrease.
Right.
The key is to develop a system that's efficient and meaningful to you.
So it's not about memorizing some universal shorthand.
No.
It's about personalizing it,
Yes,
making it our own.
exactly.
That's actually kind of empowering.
Yeah.
It's like we're creating our own secret language for listening success.
Precisely. And the more you practice with it, the more automatic it becomes.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, you'll be jotting down those abbreviations and symbols without even thinking about it,
Cool.
freeing up your mental energy to focus on the content itself.
So we've covered understanding the why behind techniques like outlines and columns and the importance of developing our own shorthand for those rapid fire fill in the blank sections. But we've only just scratched the surface here, right?
Right. There's so much more to unpack when it comes to conquering the O-level listening comprehension exam.
Okay.
We need to explore specific strategies for active listening,
Uh-huh.
those techniques that take us beyond just hearing the words, but actually understanding and retaining the message.
Right.
And of course, we need to talk about the mental game,
Yes.
those pre-exam jitters,
Yeah.
how to stay calm, focused, and confident in that exam room.
All right. So much to cover, but I'm feeling way more prepared already.
Good.
It's like we've laid the foundation, and now we're ready to build the rest of our listening comprehension house.
Exactly.
Brick by brick.
And in part 2, we'll take all of these concepts and put them into action.
Awesome.
We'll explore real-life examples,
Okay.
dive deeper into specific note-taking techniques,
Great.
and give you actionable steps to take your listening skills to the next level.
So be sure to join us for the next part of our O-level listening comprehension deep dive.
Absolutely.